In the most jaw-dropping storyline the bold and the beautiful has delivered in years, Dr. John Finn Finnegan is plunged into a surreal, psychological, and emotional maelstrom that shatters everything he thought he knew about his identity, his family, and his own mortality. Following a horrific car crash that nearly ends his life, Finn is rushed into emergency surgery. But what should have been a straightforward medical recovery veers into the unexplainable. In the sterile, humming chaos of the operating room, during a desperate and high-risk bone marrow transplant, Finn experiences something beyond medical science. His heart stops. His body lays motionless. But his consciousness? It doesn't stay tethered to the gurney. Finn's out-of-body experience is more than just a hallucination. It's vivid, real, more real than anything he's ever felt. He sees himself from above. He sees the frantic doctors. He sees the desperation in their eyes. And then everything shifts. He's pulled into a strange, quiet space filled with light and fog. He can't move, but he can see. Two figures stand near him. One is Jack Finnegan, the man he grew up believing to be his adoptive father, the man he later learned was his biological father. But beside Jack is a woman Finn doesn't recognize. A woman with long, dark hair and sharp eyes. She's not saying anything, just standing silently. Jack looks panicked, torn, as if he's begging for forgiveness, but not from Finn. He's speaking to the woman. And then Finn wakes up. The doctors call it a miracle. The surgery was a success. The transplant took. Finn is alive. But he doesn't feel saved. He feels haunted. Something happened in those lost minutes, something his rational mind can't explain. And the more he tries to ignore it, the more it digs at him. Especially when he starts asking questions about Jack. Because when Finn wakes up and demands to see his father, something doesn't add up. Jack, who should have been first at his bedside, who should have been pacing the halls or signing forms or praying he's nowhere to be found. Not only that, the hospital has no record of Jack ever being there. Finn knows what he saw. Jack was there, standing beside that woman, whispering apologies to someone who wasn't Finn. Someone else. Someone who, until now, Finn didn't know existed. Suspicion turns to obsession. Finn uses his credentials to dig into hospital logs, security footage, even surgical team reports. Nothing. Jack's name is wiped clean. No digital footprint. No security logs. It's like he vanished the moment Finn flatlined. But why? Why would Jack be erased? And then Finn finds it. A single, buried document. An old insurance entry under Jack Finnegan's name listing a dependent, female, age 36. The field is incomplete. The name is redacted. But it's enough. Finn pushes deeper, uncovering sealed legal files, psychiatric transfer forms, court-mandated confidentiality agreements all tied to someone who shares his DNA. A woman who was institutionalized nearly 2 decades ago. A woman whose records link her not just to Jack, but to Sheila Carter. It hits him like a freight train. He doesn't just have a sister. He has a twin. The revelation breaks something wide open in Finn. All the questions he had about his adoption, all the pieces that never quite fit, all the gaps in Sheila's stories, they snap into place. Sheila didn't just give birth to one child. She had 2. And while one was handed off to a life of stability and privilege, the other was locked away, hidden, silenced. Institutionalized under questionable circumstances, signed off by Jack, orchestrated by Sheila, and kept out of sight for decades. Finn's anger ignites. He isn't just the victim of a manipulative birth, mother, he's the unwitting pawn in a decades-long schemes that tore a family in 2. And the sister he never knew about? She's still alive. Still locked away. And no one has lifted a finger to find her. No one except Finn. He follows the trail. It's not easy. Every lead is obstructed. Records are scrubbed. Names are changed. But his determination is relentless. He finally traces her to a private psychiatric facility outside Los Angeles. A place with maximum security protocols, unlisted patients, and the kind of funding that only someone like Sheila could have arranged. Finn uses every trick in the book to get access, his credentials as a doctor, legal leverage, even blackmail. When he finally walks through those cold, silent halls, he sees her. A woman with his face. A woman who could be his mirror, had life not split them apart. She's not well. Not yet. Her mind is fractured. Her speech disjointed. But her eyes, they lock onto his and widen with recognition. Somewhere deep inside, she knows him. And even deeper, she knows what was done to her. Finn's twin sister is named Isla. And what she remembers, bit by bit, is a lifetime of being gaslit, restrained, and hidden. Of being told she was dangerous, unstable, unworthy. But in her fragmented memories are clues. Names. Locations. Bits of truth Sheila couldn't erase. As Finn spends time with her, a bond forms raw, painful, and powerful. But their reunion is cut short. Someone is watching. Someone who doesn't want the truth to come out. And when Finn tries to file a formal request to have Isla released into his care, the facility director stonewalls him. Cites safety risks. Refuses contact. The next day, Isla is moved. No warning. No forwarding information. Finn snaps. The system that should protect his sister is the same one keeping her imprisoned. And Sheila? She's not hiding anymore. She knows Finn is getting too close, and she's ready to strike. She still has allies in dark places, people who owe her favors. And now that Finn knows about Isla, he's no longer just a threat, he's a target. The tension escalates. Finn returns home to Steffi, shaken, furious, but determined. He tells her everything. The accident. The vision. The files. Isla. Sheila's lies. Steffi is stunned. Hurt that he didn't tell her sooner. Afraid of what this all means. But most of all, she's worried. Because once again, Sheila Carter is in their orbit. And this time, it's not just about terror, it's about blood. Family. Secrets that refuse to die. Finn won't stop. He starts contacting reporters, lawyers, anyone who will listen. But the more noise he makes, the more dangerous things become. Isla's records are now classified. Jack is still missing, and Sheila is making moves in the shadows. Finn's life becomes a double front, practicing medicine by day, chasing ghosts by night. Every piece of evidence he uncovers brings more questions. Was Isla truly mentally ill? Or was she a threat to Sheila's carefully crafted narrative? Did Jack know about her from the beginning, or was he manipulated too? Why did he vanish? Is he even alive? The more Finn learns, the more isolated he becomes. Even within Forrester Creations, there's tension. Ridge doesn't trust this obsession. Brooke worries it's a trap. Steffi tries to be supportive, but fears what digging too deep into the past might awaken. But Finn is past the point of compromise. Because this isn't just about righting a wrong. It's about reclaiming a life, his sister's life. The sister who suffered in silence while he lived free. The sister no one even knew to miss. And if Sheila Carter thinks she can silence him again, she's in for a fight. The accident didn't kill him. It woke him up. And now that Finn knows the truth, there's no turning back. Not until Isla is free. Not until Jack is found. Not until Sheila finally pays for everything she's done. The world thought Finn was the golden boy, the stable doctor, the steady hand. But now he's a man on a mission. And when he's done, the entire Forrester world will have to face the truth The past always returns. And sometimes it brings hell with it. But hell wasn't finished yet. After Isla's sudden disappearance from the psychiatric facility, Finn's world tilted again. Every phone call he made was redirected. Every legal door slammed shut. Even his own medical network contacts, people who owed him favors, colleagues who once respected him, started dodging his questions. Someone was pulling strings from the inside, covering tracks with professional precision. And there was only one person in Los Angeles with that kind of reach, with that kind of cruelty masked under charm, Sheila Carter. Finn knew she was watching. He could feel her presence long before he saw the proof. The cryptic message on his windshield. The anonymous text with a grainy photo of Isla restrained in a dim room. The implication was clear: stay out of it or risk losing everything. But Finn was done playing defense. While Steffi begged him to consider their safety, especially for the kids, Finn wouldn't back down. He was living proof that Sheila's lies had real consequences. Now another life, his twins, was hanging in the balance. He started digging deeper into Jack's connections, combing through every financial record, shell company, and offshore account. That's when he found it, a transaction trail leading to a secure medical compound in Baja California. No name. Just a location and a large payment signed months before the accident. He made the decision in minutes. Told Steffi he had to go. She was furious, terrified, but she knew better than to stop him. She handed him an encrypted phone and a warning: don't trust anyone. Not even people who say they're trying to help. Finn crossed the border under an alias. Once in Baja, he tracked the location to an old colonial building tucked into the cliffs. No signs. No patients visible. Just armed security and a heavy silence. He posed as a consultant, using forged credentials and surgical contacts in Mexico to gain entry. It worked for a while. Inside, what he found sickened him. The facility wasn't a hospital. It was a prison. A place for the inconvenient to disappear. Wealthy families dumped their black sheep here. Politicians stashed away scandals. And deep in the lower levels, behind layers of passcodes and psychological restraints, he found her. Isla was barely recognizable. Sedated, disoriented, thinner than she was weeks ago. But when Finn whispered her name, her eyes locked on his again. The spark was still there. The sister he lost wasn't gone, just buried. He swore to her in that moment, "I'm getting you out." But getting out wouldn't be simple, because as soon as he began the process to extract her, alarms went off. His ID was flagged. Security converged. And standing at the top of the stairs, arms crossed, smug as ever, Sheila. Sheila Carter didn't run this facility. She didn't have to. She just had enough dirt on the people who did to make it hers whenever she wanted. Her face was calm, but her eyes were burning. She told Finn, "You were never supposed to find her." Jack made sure of that. "And now you've forced my hand." Finn lunged, tried to take Isla and run, but it was too late. Guards dragged him back. He was restrained, medicated, and dumped in a holding wing. For 36 hours, he was locked away, groggy, drugged, powerless. Until someone made a mistake, an orderly didn't lock the second restraint. Finn broke free, slipped through service tunnels, and found Isla's room again. This time, he didn't hesitate. He carried her out in his arms, fought off 2 guards, escaped in a stolen van, and drove through the night. They crossed the border at dawn, using alternate IDs, Finn shaking with rage, Isla whispering fragments of childhood memories as they fled. Once in LA, he hid her in a private facility run by an old friend, someone outside Sheila's influence. He didn't tell anyone. Not even Steffi. Not yet. Because now, Finn wasn't just fighting for truth. He was planning war. He called a press conference under the guise of a new mental health initiative. And then he detonated the bomb. He revealed the existence of Isla. He spoke of medical conspiracy, hidden patients, falsified records. He dropped Jack's name, Sheila's. And then he introduced Isla to the world. The fallout was nuclear. Forrester Creations exploded with panic. Ridge raged. Steffi wept. Brooke was stunned silent. Reporters swarmed the hospital. Sheila vanished. Arrest warrants were filed. Jack, when finally located, was found living in a cabin in Montana under a false name. He was arrested, brought in for questioning. His defense? I was protecting them from Sheila. But the damage was done. Isla began intensive therapy and, slowly, started to reclaim pieces of her stolen life. Finn stayed by her side, helping her rebuild. The trauma hadn't vanished, but for the first time, healing could begin. And Finn? He was no longer the quiet doctor on the edge of the drama. He was the storm at the center of it. A brother, a protector, a man transformed. But even as peace began to return, he couldn't ignore the shadow that still lingered. Sheila was gone, but not gone. She never disappears completely. And now that Finn had defied her, exposed her, and destroyed her legacy of control, he knew it wasn't over. Because for every secret revealed, the bold and the beautiful always has more waiting. And Finn's war with Sheila Carter? It's just getting started.